Asherlow. It's a big grant.
Good morning, afternoon, wherever the hell time of day you happen to be listening to this, and welcome to Sure It'll Be Grand's weekly recap, rewatch, review of WandaVision, the MCU's shining light in 2021-2020. My name is Owen. I'm joined by Dan, as I am every week. Hi, Dan.
Goodbye, Dan.
You leaving?
Yeah, bye now, folks. It was nice while we had it. I know, I was
right.
expecting you to say hello, Dan. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to change the form today.
No. I decided to not fall into that trap today. I was expecting you to do the usual guff, and I thought, we're becoming predictable. We need to change it up a
And
little.
see, I was trying to make it unpredictable, and now we've ruined it.
Well, we need to be on the same page then. Chaos.
Anyway, yeah,
chaos.
how are you?
I'm grand. I really liked this week's episode of WandaVision for the most part.
Bit of a tease at the end. Like, come on, just do it.
They cooked us big time.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall is pretty good. I think.
Yeah.
You know, you can
absolutely.
say that about the show most weeks. Overall, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, I haven't even the episode we had a problem with wasn't a problem necessarily with the episode, but more where it was placed. Like, you know.
Yeah, and I still, you know, it wasn't that I didn't like the episode. I just felt it was too early for a lot of it.
Yeah.
But we're on to episode 6 this week.
Yes.
The big
Almost
one.
More than halfway through.
Yeah, there's only 3 episodes left. 3 episodes, right? Why can't I ever remember how many episodes
9
there
episodes,
are? 9,
yeah.
so
But maybe there's a secret 10th episode, is the rumor.
Oh,
dun,
yeah,
dun,
there
dun.
could be. There could be. I mean, yeah.
I'd love that. I think that'd be so cool if they would finish episode 9 on like a cliffhanger. It's like, and then watch next week for episode 10.
Come back for episode 10. Yeah. So let's get into it then. Episode 6, WandaVision. We are in the 90s?
But definitely in the 90s, I think.
We think. See, here's the thing, right? Is that I'm saying 90s because that's the pattern it's been following so far. They're jumping like a decade in sitcom lore every episode. So that would bring us up to the 90s for this episode. But it was very Malcolm in the Middle.
It was very Malcolm in the Middle from the very start.
Which
the running around the house thing and all that kind of stuff.
Was not a 90s sitcom.
Which wasn't. But somehow, in my mind, in my soul, it's the most 90s thing ever.
That's why, because I think like it started out, okay, so they do their sitcom theme song at the start, which is great. I think this week's was my favorite one. It's great.
Yeah.
And then they, you know, it's very like instantly, even like the font that they used to have all their names pop up just looked, I think both of us were like, oh,
Malcolm
it's Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
And then the kids did Tommy and Billy did the like talk to the camera thing that Malcolm did in that. And it was all very Malcolm in the Middle. And then I started thinking, but Malcolm in the Middle, that came out in like the early 2000s. That wasn't, it wasn't a 90s sitcom. And I checked, and it wasn't. It started in like 2001, end of 2000, early 2001. But you know, maybe there are other sitcoms where the theme song it was very Party of Five, sort of as well. It's just that sort of like 90s, like rocky, grungy theme song.
I will say it only really stuck to that 90s feel of a show for the first like 5-8 minutes, and then they just slipped into a WandaVision show where like everyone is a little bit self-aware and talking. Yeah,
they've been kind of sticking to the sitcom thing a lot less since like the first two episodes. It was like constant. They really they really hit that and stayed with that beat for the first 2 episodes. And now I guess that we know this what's going on outside, and we know that this is not it's not a sitcom, essentially.
Oh, the most shocking revelation.
Yeah, but you know, like the show knows. People in the show know what's happening and stuff. So it's kind of like it. You know, it would be great crack, because that's my favorite part of the show of WandaVision is all the like sitcom stuff that I think is hilarious.
Honestly,
I could
have a series that's like 27 episodes long every season of them just doing different eras of sitcoms, and I'd love it. I'd watch it.
I just watch a WandaVision sitcom, even if it's just a modern day sitcom. It's just WandaVision living their life and chilling.
Hey, give us a bloody Marvel sitcom, any kind of sitcom with good actors. Be great, you know.
Yeah, it would. Maybe that's their next the finger in the pie that Marvel needs is an act just straight up a sitcom.
The shared sitcom universe. Be great.
Yeah. But anyway, we start. So the big reveal in episode 5 was that Quicksilver's here. Evan Peters is in. Well, I was going to say back. He's technically in the MCU now for the first time.
That's true.
But he's here, and he's here. He's in the intro for this episode, like the theme song thing. He's very back, and that's where again party of 5 maybe, because now there's 5 of them. You see. But he's here, and he's like he's the like degenerate bum of an uncle that's like crashing on their couch, and the kids love him because they think he's great fun. Tommy and Billy, that is, the kids. And Wanda is still kind of like looking at him at times as if to be like, why is he here? Is this really my brother sort of situation?
Yeah. She starts asking questions. Yeah.
She questions him a lot. She's very much like right at the beginning, Pietro mentions some memory that he has of them as kids and we get like this really quirky flashback to Wanda and Vision trick-or-treating.
And she's like, I don't remember it like that.
She's like, that's not how I remember it. And he's like, well, you must have suppressed the memory of it or something.
If the trauma must have suppressed the memory, it's like, oh my God, this is this entire show.
That's the whole thing in a nutshell, basically.
Yeah. So she does keep asking questions, and he answers some of them, but he only answers the ones that are public knowledge, like, oh, shut down like a dog in the street. But like, you don't have to be that character to know that information. Yeah,
that's true. He like, there's a point where Wanda straight up asks him a specific thing about their childhood. When he said, she asks him like a person's name that they knew in childhood, and he just deflects the question completely. Yeah, he's like, he actually calls her out on it. I think he says, "You're testing me," or you know.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because we get a brief scene of him with bullet wounds and like pale skin, which before seemed to have been like a reality thing for Vision. We realized, oh shit, Vision's actually dead. Yeah, we have evidence now. Like, and so when that happens, like, okay, that's weird. Or is it just how she perceives him when the trauma gets pulled back?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's implied by that scene that this is Quicksilver. The one who died in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
But Wanda, one of her questions as well for him is, why does he look different?
Yeah.
And he says some stupid thing about, hey, I don't know, if you found Shangri-La, wouldn't you? Or something along those lines.
Yeah. And I know he makes a point that, you know, he remembers himself being shot and then hearing her calling for help, which, I mean, I actually think that's a point to be given for that. This might actually be Quicksilver, because I don't see any agent or spy or someone pretending to be that character to have such a whimsical cover story.
Like, up until the flash of dead body Quicksilver, I thought maybe this was just some guy pretending to be him to get in with Wanda or something. But now it's clearly this is, at this point, I think it's fairly fucking nailed on that this is Wanda's subconscious doing everything. She flat out says in this episode, Quicksilver says, "What? How did you do this?"
Yeah.
And she looks at him like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I mean, this whole thing is a big step up from giving people nightmares and doing wiggly woos with your hands or something," which is a great line. And she just says, "Well, I don't know." She said, "I just remember being in a lot of pain, and there was a lot of darkness and sadness, and then this happened." She doesn't know how she's doing it, but
a friend of ours, Kevin, and I were talking about some of the episode stuff, and we were kind of theorizing on the idea that SWORD has been trying to build synthetic humans.
Yeah.
And maybe Quicksilver's that, because yes, we can say it's someone who went into that world to like find out what's happening with Scarlet, but why was he then magically chosen to be Quicksilver and have that entry point, unless there's actually perhaps maybe a synthesized that can run at, super speeds. And
Yes,
then,
we should mention he has his powers.
yeah,
This Quicksilver, he uses them constantly, as Quicksilver tends to do. He
Yeah.
super speeds all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know for a fact, we know a couple of things, right? We know definitely the head of S.W.O.R.D. is up to something. He
Yes.
has an ulterior motive for this entire thing, and he wants to kill Wanda.
Yeah.
Probably he's probably doing something. We know it's been said to us a couple of episodes ago that S.W.O.R.D. started building sentient weaponry and things like that. We know they had Vision's body, so it's safe to assume that they were using they were running tests and taking information from his body in order to help them build things.
Yeah, keep in mind that everything that was made to make Vision, except for Thor intervening, was made on Earth. Like, this is not...
Yeah, Tony Stark built him.
Yeah, so it's not beyond the people of Earth to make another.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't think they're not going to get somebody whose Vision. They're not going to be able to build
not
that.
far off. If they have,
could
but they
build a
already have
robot.
Vision as the base, so
Yeah,
they can work with
they
that.
could build Vision's body. They're not going to be able to make him Vision, I don't think.
Yeah.
They could make the hardware part of things, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm saying he could be Quicksilver, could be a synthetic agent of theirs.
He could, but then why is he a corpse full of bullet holes?
Because he's based on what Vision was made of as well. So she can maybe sense a connection between him and Vision.
You think the corpse wasn't real and she just saw that?
I think she saw grief from both of them, and then she feels he's somewhat like Vision. That's why she had that same effect happening to her. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, maybe, but
I don't know. Right? See, here's the thing: if you compare it to Vision, who we know is dead but has been somehow reanimated in this reality bubble by Wanda. Vision now is fully aware, not fully, but he's definitely aware that Wanda is controlling everything. Something isn't right, and he doesn't have all his memories, but he's putting things together. Quicksilver is the same. Quicksilver throughout this episode seems fully cognizant of the fact that Wanda has done all of this. Wanda has created this bubble. She's controlling everybody. She's using her powers to do this. And she's the reason why he's there, essentially.
Yeah.
It could be a case of that. Also the kids, right? The kids seem aware of, on some levels, of that their mother is doing this and that this is her reality. So the 4 people so far in the show who seem consistently aware of everything that's happening are all people who have superpowers.
And who are family.
And are related to Wanda. So maybe she's just, I was thinking maybe because they have powers and they're like different biologically or on some levels. Wanda can't control them as fully as she controls everybody else.
Yeah, might be true.
So maybe this is Quicksilver's body.
Yeah.
That she's somehow brought back. I mean, she stole Vision's corpse. She could have easily dug up her brother. But
again, I mean, unless there was some terrible rotting going on, which, bodies tend to do, it is a different person. They made a point of that. Recast it, like at least a different face.
She says, why do you look different? But then Marvel has also, and we know that Loki that's coming out is going to dive into like time, and Endgame did it. They do time travel and stuff is a thing, and like alternate realities now are going to be a thing, and alternate timelines. They are in an alternate timeline right now.
Technically, yeah, that's true.
This could be just Quicksilver in this timeline. Maybe this is what he looks like. But she's trying to force the memories from the other Quicksilver into him. Maybe this is what he looked like.
So is there another Scarlet Witch around then?
There could be. I don't know.
I'm not sure about that one, man. I'm not sure about that one.
I'm just spitballing here, man. I'm just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. I don't know.
So let's go down. Do you think this is actually some variety of Quicksilver, not someone in disguise as Quicksilver?
Yeah, because of the flash of deadness, I don't think it's
Yeah.
somebody in disguise. It's not just a guy pretending to be Quicksilver.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It might be just like, it might have been in the past some random guy that was shot, and Wanda has now like subconsciously made him her brother,
surgically implanted him.
She's trying to put like Quicksilver into this new person. I think maybe. I don't think 100%. I don't think it's just some guy pretending to be him.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, there's some theories. I mean, plot wise, I don't know. I don't want to recap everything. I think we'll move away.
No.
Kind of.
I think we talk about some of the
that,
important parts in it.
Yeah, and one thing, just to go back to the sitcom thing. So, well, I guess we have to go through some of it. So the big thing that happens, I guess, in this episode is Vision tries to escape.
Yes.
He meets...
We should probably mention Darcy, by the way, because this has been an arguing point on the podcast.
Between us?
Kinda. Last episode, I kind of went, really? You really don't think there's anything up with Darcy? But this episode kind of proves your point more.
I don't remember what my point was.
Like this time, because like I think a lot of people are thinking that Darcy, there was more to her than meets the eye, and that she maybe has been manipulating Wanda as well. But unless she is completely, subterfuge at this stage, I think she's just more aware than other people, kind of like Herb is. Like they seem to have
Agnes, you mean?
Oh, Agnes, sorry.
Yeah, that's what Darcy's Kat Dennings' character. I was like, what?
Yeah, no, sorry. It wasn't. There's no point of contention for there, folks. I'm very tired.
Yes, Agnes. Yes,
Agnes. Yeah.
Yeah, I still think she's just another villager. I will say I thought it was interesting, and I think this is. I don't think it means anything. I think it's just another example of Marvel being fully aware of what people might be hypothesizing when watching this. So it's Halloween in this episode, so everybody's wearing their costumes. Agnes is dressed as a witch.
Yeah.
And one of the theories that people had was that Agnes is a witch.
A witch
character from the comics that taught Scarlet Witch how to use her powers and all this kind of stuff. So I just thought that was a nice... I don't think it actually meant anything. I just thought it was a nice little like... Yeah, we know what you guys are thinking, which they do. They've been doing like a lot. Basically every week, I think... Well, what did that mean? The following episode, a character on screen says, like, actively calls out that thing and just is like, yeah, well, whatever.
Herb's back as well.
Herb is back. We haven't seen him since he almost told Vision what was going on a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, and he can act very much like Agnes again this time, where he's just like, oh, do you want to change something to Wanda in the street?
Same
like
as Agnes in the last episode. He was like,
do
you want me to do...
So do you think there's just some people who are more aware of themselves than others and can kind of like push through?
I think that from what I can tell, most people I would say at this point, I think most people in the town are aware that Wanda's controlling them, or Wanda's making these things happen. I think that maybe we see in this episode. So last week, Wanda said, "You really think I'm controlling thousands of people and making everybody go to their dentist appointments and stuff?" We see in this episode she's not, because when Wanda's not around, everybody else just stands in one spot.
Yeah,
they don't move. They can't do anything. They don't have any like. It's not as Wanda said. Or try to imply that like the whole town is constantly running as a town, and she's controlling everybody and making everybody live their lives on a day-to-day basis. That's not happening. People aren't living their lives. They're just when the cameras for the sitcom are on them, they're moving and they're playing their parts. But outside of that, they seem to be just stuck. They're just standing there. They can't.
Yeah, and arguably when we saw Vision walking around offset, so to speak,
Yeah.
they stopped using the cinematography from the show. Like it was less colorful. It was very much more like Marvel-esque. It was kind of felt like what happens on the outside, really.
Yeah,
like
well, it
cinematography
was much more similar look and feel to the outside spy gadgety shite.
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
whatever. But yeah, Vision. So Vision goes on a walkabout. He lies. He tells Wanda, "Oh, I'm doing my neighborhood watch stuff today. I got to keep an eye on things." But he actually just wanders around the town trying to see what's going on. He's the one that knows.
Wanda is around the town.
He's the one that notices that everybody's like stuck and they're not moving, and he's trying to help people.
Yeah.
Meets Agnes, does what he did to your man in the last episode and like fixes her brain for a second, and she's like, "We can't even think about leaving. Wanda won't let us," and she loses her mind, same as the last guy did.
Yeah.
So
Again, we find out that it kind of reiterates Vision has no memory of the Avengers.
yeah. Agnes said, "Oh my God, it's Vision. You're an Avenger," and Vision says, I am Vision, and I'm here to help. But what is an Avenger?"
Yeah,
He doesn't know. He has no memories. And then he tries to leave. He tries to walk out of the force field thing that Wanda has up around the town. He gets
that
out.
didn't go the way I expected, to be honest. How vision wise, looks wise, that it didn't go the way I expected.
He makes it a certain point past the barrier, and then like he gets ripped apart. Basically, everything gets pulled backwards. Pieces of him are pulled back into the reality. So,
and Vision's just being Vision, the best boy in the world, by saying, "I'm okay to die, but you need to help these people.
Yeah.
I'm sending you a message."
Sword are standing around watching this happen, just going, Jesus. Yeah. Darcy runs in and says, "Oh, somebody help him," and they handcuff her to a car, because of course they do.
Great character moment, you know.
And then Tommy and Billy, the kids whose powers have now manifested, so they're becoming Speed and Wiccan from the comics. Wiccan, Tommy, right?
Sure.
Yeah. His powers come in and he can like hear his dad. He hears Vision in trouble in his brain and runs and tells Wanda. Wanda goes fucking supernova and just expands the whole operation to the walls of the whole thing expand outwards and take over the sword camp, turning it into like a circus, and they all turn into clowns and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what she thinks of them, I guess. And everybody gets sucked in, including Darcy. Which I hope, right? Because Kat Dennings, so next week we should by all rights be now in like 2000s sitcom era.
Yeah.
Kat Dennings was in a sitcom in the early 2000s called Raising Dad, and her co-star was Brie Larson.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool.
Meanwhile, Monica Rambeau for 2 episodes now has hinted, I'm calling my friend. I gotta call my friend. I'm waiting on somebody. They're gonna help me get into this reality or whatever. She's friends with Brie Larson, Captain Marvel.
She is, but there was a part to me that was kind of hoping that she wasn't on the best of terms with her because of her mother and all this kind of stuff. I was expecting some drama there, but I guess not.
I don't know really, to be honest. I don't think Monica or her mother really had much dealings with Captain Marvel beyond the 80s.
Okay. Here's a question.
Because she left. Captain Marvel left the world. She wasn't on Earth for like 30 years.
Who'd be your favorite cameo to come in here? And I guess one that works.
Yeah, see, this is because I'm wondering now if, because we were all kind of like, well, I know a lot of people weren't, but we were a little bit deflated about the Quicksilver thing. Because it was
I thought it was neat, but
it was cool, but we were kind of, it was,
Luke Skywalker levels.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we were kind of, it was predictable though as well. Everybody was like, oh well, Quicksilver's going to show up at some point. But maybe that wasn't the cameo they were talking about. Because Monica has, now I don't think it's Captain Marvel because she said it. She said him a couple of times. She's like both times she mentioned it. I think this time she said, I have to meet him and he's going to get me in, or he's my way in, or something along those lines. So I don't know. Maybe it is Doctor Strange.
Could be. Oh, what? So Captain Marvel, forgive me, comic book nerds. Was it the Kree that they were dealing with? The like face changers and stuff in the Captain Marvel movie?
The Kree, yeah.
The Kree, yeah. What if there are some Krees involved in this show that we just don't know yet?
Well, yeah, it could be the guy. God, I can't think of his name, but at the end of Captain Marvel, that was staying around on Earth with Samuel L. Jackson, or the guy that he was pretending to be Samuel L. Jackson in one of the post-credit scenes.
Yeah,
was that Captain Marvel?
Yeah, probably. But here's the thing, right? What if she had someone on the inside when she went there, even though she was under like Wanda's control and that kind of stuff? Maybe they were able to communicate with another person she knew. Maybe there's a Kree in there.
You think there's a Kree in Westview?
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, there could be. You never know.
And it's Quicksilver. Dun, dun, dun.
Quicksilver is a Kree all this time.
I mean, wouldn't it make as much sense as anything else we suggested today? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some interesting things from Quicksilver.
Also,
like he's very
not the Kree.
pressed.
Not the Kree.
Sorry.
The Skrulls.
Okay. Skrull. Sorry, folks. Oh God, we're gonna get some.
I think. Oh man, I don't know. One of them was the Kree and one was the Skrulls, and they were at war. The Kree were Ronan the Accuser's people, the blue guys.
Yeah.
I think they were the bad guys. The Skrull were like green aliens, and they were like
they
hiding
were like
and stuff.
Immigrants and
so I think maybe the Skrulls. Yeah.
But yeah, we get some interesting things from Quicksilver. Like he's impressed with Wanda what she's done. Like he even says like, "Hey, when did you add the kids? Like, did you always have them, or were they just sleeping in bed?" And that was a dark note that I think a lot of people.
It was another example of Marvel being completely aware of what people are talking about, though.
Yeah,
because even we had a couple of discussions even about like in the first two episodes, why do they keep saying like, "Oh, for the children" and all this kind of culty weird shit, and there's no kids around. Until Tommy and Billy showed up, there was no kids. And now Quicksilver turns up, and one of the first things he does is, "Oh, hey, yeah, there's kids in this episode." And I'll be honest, until he said it, I hadn't fully copped. It hadn't dawned on me that, oh yeah, there's a bunch of kids running around now all of a sudden. Where did they come from?
So, I'm terrible for remembering names and stuff, as Owen has probably mentioned before on this podcast, and then probably people have noticed by listening to this podcast. But in the black and white era of the neighborhood society, the one in charge, don't you feel weird that she hasn't showed up again? Like they kind of pushed her up to be
the blonde Tea Party lady.
Yeah.
There's been kind of. I don't know where she is.
They framed her as something, didn't they?
Like Vision's boss and Kitty from that 70s show are gone as well.
Yeah, and they really seemed like they were important parts of it. They
were like fully in the first two episodes.
Yeah, they were. And they were even on the fourth episode, so when they put up like things on the board, like I'm fairly sure they were part of the board.
Yeah, they were, because the people outside were watching the first two episodes.
Yeah, but again, they reiterated the character. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know. There's been a couple of people. I don't know if Wanda is just hiding them.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's just like, I don't like you. You don't get to be in my TV show anymore.
Do you think her extending it is a warning that it might even go further?
I think it's I think it's safe to say that like she can do this. Like she was being polite.
Nice.
She was being polite by only taking over a little town in New Jersey that nobody cared about, I think maybe. Like she could, it looks to me like if she really wanted to, she could have just engulfed the world in this shit. Yeah, not the whole world, but she could have taken over like New York City or like Manhattan or something and been like, yeah, I own millions of people. What up?
Here's the thing. Like Quicksilver has always been a bit of a smart aleck character in the MCU and, in the X-Men universe as well. But he's a bit of a prick by the end of this episode, like.
Yeah, he calls out Wanda when Wanda Wanda like expands the thing, she does it because she realizes Vision is like escaping and he's dying and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Quicksilver says, "Oh, what's the big deal? Your dead husband can't die again," or something along those lines.
Yeah, and things like him being really impressed, like, oh, where did you hide the children? That was smart. Like, he's into this, which is the weirdest part.
Yeah, that's see. Here's the thing as well. This Quicksilver personality is not the Quicksilver we remember from Age of Ultron.
Not at all. Jeez,
He didn't. I mean, for one, he doesn't have the accent, which they call out in the show as well. Wanda says, "What happened to your
he's
accent?"
a smart aleck in
Well,
it.
what
Like,
happened
he's
to
like,
yours?
hey, didn't expect that. Haha. He's that kind of stuff, you know. But it's not like Scarlet hurt the children. Yes, you know. He's
Yeah,
not
no, it's not. But he is also playing his role in the sitcom.
He is, but I don't think that counts when they have the quiet moments and they're talking between each other. I don't think it's a sitcom character moment in there. I think that's just them talking. It's the same way when Vision and Wanda talk quietly with each other when something's going weird.
Yeah, true.
Like, they're saying this to the side, like.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah. Are you looking forward to the next episode?
I am, because they left us on a big stupid cliffhanger this week.
Yeah.
I swear to God, man, this like 10 minutes of credits is doing my head in.
Yeah.
Every week now.
It's basically the same credits as the movies, like.
It's literally right. I looked at it today. So the runtime for this episode on Disney Plus is 35 minutes and 55 seconds. That's like the total length of the episode. Yeah. But the episode doesn't start until a minute and a half in, because the first minute and a half is a recap followed by that really lengthy Marvel Comics intro. Yeah, that thing. Then you get the episode, and then the episode ends about 30 minutes. So the actual episode is about 27 minutes long.
Yeah.
20, 25, 26 minutes. And then the rest of it is credits. So it's like, on one level, maybe I get it, is that they're using a sitcom's runtime. Like a sitcom, most people would think 30-minute episodes, but it was 30-minute blocks of television. The actual episode was about 25, 26 minutes, and the rest was filled with ad breaks.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing, but it just feels so like, because we're watching it, because it's streaming, you're not used to this anymore.
No.
Like, if you're streaming something and it says, I guess people are used to like Netflix cut out the credits and stuff. You watch the episode, and if it's a movie, they like make the credits really small, which I know a lot of people hate because they think it's disrespectful to the people that made the show or whatever.
It should be a setting within your Netflix app that
you can choose to do it. Yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but at the same point, if you really want to watch the credits, like Netflix doesn't get rid of them; they make them small. Yeah. You can just click on them again and watch the credits.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
it's
fair
not
enough.
Yeah,
I think it's people complain about nothing, to be honest.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, I am excited for next week. I mean, you know, we're in the end game now.
Now, see, the thing is, you didn't really answer me. Who do you want to see as a cameo? If you could choose anyone that you think works,
like just in general, or who do I think, like
both? What would excite you the most to be there?
Like an existing MCU character?
No, not necessarily.
Just anybody.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Oh, well, I mean, the big one would be one that we've kind of talked about already before. Like if fucking Magneto or another X-Man turned up. X-Man.
I think I'd be both excited and deflated at the same time. Like, like.
It depends how they did it. Like if it was a full on, if they just introduced a completely like a new actor playing a mutant, playing in one of the X-Men, that could be cool.
That works.
If they just throw in like, here's Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender or something, and you kind of go, whoa, this doesn't make sense. Wait, what the hell is going on? Like, so I don't know. It depends.
I've been fighting for mutant rights for decades. Well, we never heard about you.
Yeah, What have you been doing all this time, Magneto? What you didn't?
I've been running a forum. Not a lot of people visited.
You mean you missed that time when an ancient mutant from like ancient Egypt turned up and almost destroyed the world? You guys weren't here for that? No, I guess
What?
I guess that was during the 5-year time skip. I don't know, man.
Imagine like the 5-year time skip. Like people are depressed, saddened, all this kind of stuff, and then in the middle of it, just this fucking shit happens. Like,
it's just the mutants have appeared and are fighting ancient mutants. And stuff. Everybody just forgot about it afterwards.
yeah, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're talking like an existing MCU character, what would
which is most likely,
you know, what would excite me the most? I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's any that I really want to see turn up. To be honest, I don't know. You know what? I think Captain Marvel would be cool. Just briefly, I think it would be nice to see, because look, I wasn't a huge fan of Captain Marvel, the movie.
No, neither was I.
But I liked her a lot more in Endgame.
Yeah. She was great in that game.
Yeah.
That scene when she's holding up the fist from Thanos, like, I started feeling the hype then. Like I was like, okay, this is fucking great.
Even that version of Captain Marvel, her personality even in Endgame is a lot more likable to me than she was in her own movie. Which is, I know it's happened because of funky wonky how Marvel film things and stuff. Like, she shot the Endgame thing before they shot Captain Marvel, and she wasn't allowed to talk about it or do anything or know anything about the movie. So like, it's explainable. But yeah, I'd like to see Captain Marvel now, because this would be Endgame Captain Marvel turning up to do something. I think if
what they'll do, what they'll do is they just bring Miss Marvel in just to mess with it again, just like, oh
yeah. I think like at this point, this is now, because of this episode, this has now become a big enough problem that Wanda is causing, that if an Avenger doesn't turn up, people are gonna go, well, you know, the usual like, well, where were the Avengers? This is in New Jersey. Why didn't Spider-Man swing over and help him? And you know, that kind of stuff where the pitfalls of like having an interconnected universe is that you have to constantly have a reason why everybody else can't turn up to help.
Imagine the early 2000s version of this village, and Spider-Man goes into it, and it's Tobey Maguire. Because that's what Spider-Man would have been in the early 2000s. Like,
that would be cool.
Walking in and just turning Tobey Maguire.
That would be awesome. If that was the cameo, that would be cool. Yeah, like Tom Holland turns up for like a split second and goes, I gotta save him, and just dashes into the portal, and suddenly it's Tobey Maguire. Yeah, that would be cool. Well, because we think people have speculated now for a long time that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
Tom Holland said yesterday that they're not.
Yeah, but I don't buy that.
Yeah, people think he's lying. He said it in an interview. They asked him about it, and he said no. He said unless Marvel have kept it hidden from me and not told me about it, they're not in the movie. And he was like,
they built
which
him
is
to
a
be
pretty
a
big
major
thing.
spoiler head, so they just reversed it, I think. You know.
Yeah, that's like, well, see, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't think he's capable enough. I suppose he's an actor. He could just lie.
Maybe they said, look, we're going to take your multi-million-dollar job away from you if you fucking say it again, and now pretend this.
You need to act now, Tom. Act. Tell the world they're not in this movie.
If you were to ask me who I think would be very good in this as Hawkeye, I think Hawkeye would fit this really well. He still has agency connections. He has a connection to Scarlet Witch. He's seen her just before her trauma. I think there's a lot of things that work there. And I know Hawkeye's not everyone's favorite, but story-wise, that would work well for him to be in, like, a representative of the Avengers even.
Yeah, it would. Especially given the thing he had with Quicksilver in Age of Ultron.
And then the whole thing, you know, when you walk out that door, you're an Avenger. So maybe he's there to remind her.
No, see,
like,
here's the thing, right? Like, Hawkeye would make sense.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to get excited about a Hawkeye cameo.
I think
Hawkeye's the one where, like, if they're like, oh, we have an Avengers cameo, and it's Hawkeye, you're like, oh, yeah, all right.
But see,
couldn't it have been Thor?
I know. We just said this a few times. Just randomly, Thor has nothing to do with any of this. Just like, I'll just bring Thor in. Fuck it.
Yeah, but it's not even just in this. Just anything. Just if they sell it as like, yeah, we have an Avengers cameo, and then that Avenger is Hawkeye or Black Widow, you're going to be like,
yeah.
Could you not got one of the guys with powers or something? Like one of the cool guys?
But the thing is, the way Wanda's dealing with her trauma and all this kind of stuff, I think the only person that we know that she has a relationship with who could maybe talk her down and make her realize who she is and what she has to do is Hulk. It's just, it fits really, really well. And I think I'd be excited story-wise. I wouldn't be excited like, I want a cool cameo of like lasers and stuff, but story element-wise, like me enjoying stories, I think that would be the perfect one for me, to be honest.
Yeah, you could be right too. It could be him. It could be who Monica's talking about.
Could be. He's an agent still. I mean, kind of retired.
He's coming out of retirement again. One last time. He's fucking Conor McGregor. Just keeps retiring and coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, let's not talk about him. But yeah, that would be my choice. I think I'd like that.
It's a good one. I think we're going to wrap it up there, folks. Let us know if you like who would be your perfect cameo to arrive in WandaVision. If you think, who do you think Monica is talking about? Is it an Avenger? Is it just some random side character from something else? Is it one of the other scientists from Thor? Could be somebody, could be nobody.
Yeah. And
we will
folks,
find out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to whichever platform you follow us. We're on all the boring social medias as well. So follow us there. And let us know what you thought of this episode. Like always, we really appreciate theories, feedback. It's our thing. Don't know why.
Yes, sir. All right, we will see you all next week for Transformers the movie. And when I am not underselling this when I say this is the most chaotic, just bewildering episode we've done so far.
To be fair, on a chaotic, bewildering movie.
Yeah, and I apologize in advance.
Yeah, no,
I don't. Screw you guys. We're out, bitches.